Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Jayden Bryce Show, the show where we talk about the latest, hottest topics in the world of pop culture and sports. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. I got a great show lined up for you guys. I promised my pop culture fans would have a heavy show for you guys. We are going to discuss some Superman because a lot of things has been going on regarding Superman. But overall, let's get a quick rundown of the show. We got some sports. We're going to be talking about Isaiah Bond and Quinshon Judkins getting their legal cases dismissed and removed from their respective positions. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes being compared to Tom Brady by the GOAT himself. Then we're going to transition into the pop culture stuff, and we are going to discuss Superman going to digital very prematurely. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the upcoming Superman saga that has been confirmed by James Gunn. But before we get into all that, I want to take this time to thank you guys for tuning in to today's show. Be sure to drop a like on the podcast. Check out all my other videos located down below in the description. Check out the podcast as well on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get right into the show. We have another nightcap tonight, and I'm pretty much enjoying it. I start school next week, and I'm kind of up in the air right now on how I want to film the show. I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in 3 shows a week. I'm just going to have to wait and see. Obviously, on Sunday night, weekly, when the football season does commence, we are going to have that daily show on Sunday night. But as far as weekly shows, I don't know quite yet. I may just have to do 2 during the week. That may have to be it. But we're just going to have to wait and see on that. I wanted to give you guys a little just disclaimer when it comes to that aspect of the show moving forward. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. So Mr. Quinshon Judkins and Isaiah Bond both were rookies that were in the latest draft, and they had some legal cases that they had to serve and they had to deal with in their respective cases. Isaiah Bond was charged with a sexual assault case, and Quinshon Judkins was accused of domestic assault and battery. Let's get to a article written here by ESPN. And this is about Quinshon Judkins specifically. Cleveland Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins won't face a formal misdemeanor battery charge over a domestic incident in South Florida last month. Prosecutors declined to pursue charges after reviewing police reports, body-worn camera videos, video surveillance, photos, phone records, and the sworn statement of a woman he allegedly struck, according to a decline memorandum obtained by ESPN. Judkins was arrested on a misdemeanor domestic violence and battery charge in Fort Lauderdale on July 12th, according to reports. The incident happened 5 days before the arrest, but was not reported until that day. Sound very fishy to me. And moving on to Mr. Isaiah Bond, the sexual assault case against former Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond has been no billed, and he faces no further criminal charges, Collin County, Texas District Attorney Greg Willis said Thursday. And as Mr. Willis quotes, after reviewing all evidence presented, a Collin County grand jury returned a no bill in the sexual assault charge involving Isaiah Bond, meaning no indictment will be issued, Willis said in a statement. This concludes the criminal proceedings in this matter. And Mr. Quinshon Judkins, not Quinshon Judkins, but Isaiah Bond went on after that to formally announce that he is being signed by the Cleveland Browns. Now, let's go ahead and get all the jokes out of the way in regards to the Cleveland Browns wanting to only hire criminals. I saw this meme going all across the internet. You had a whole lot of people talking about, they were doing the Spider-Man meme, all these jail memes, because essentially, let's just give some context to this. We have the stuff that has been going on with Deshaun Watson and his stuff with the massages. Now you have the sexual assault case with Isaiah Bond, and in Quinshon Judkins' case, sexual assault and battery. And there's a plethora of others in the past. We can go to Josh Gordon. The list can go on and on and on. So it's a little inside joke that has been going on across the media, and I just want to hit on that just a little bit. But in series, I'm gonna talk about each one specifically. So first, let's talk about Mr. Isaiah Bond. His accusations was before the NFL draft. Now, this definitely hurt his draft stock because, in my opinion, I think Isaiah Bond could have been drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. He was one of the highlighted receivers going into the NFL draft because he had a pretty good stint at Alabama. Then he transferred to Texas in his final year alongside Matthew Golden. He didn't have as good of a year that he has had in Alabama, but still a lot to be desired. Very fast wide receiver, can get down the field with speed, great hands. So he was one of the premier candidates to be drafted at the wide receiver position in this latest draft. But due to the legal process and proceedings that he had exhibited against him, he went undrafted. When a lot of people had him going to the 3rd and 4th round, specifically me, but who knows? He probably even could have went as high as the 2nd. It's just pretty much have to wait and, waited to be seen. But he's been going undrafted since the draft ended back in April, and he still has not found a team. He's missed out on rookie minicamp. He's missed out on majority of training camp, and he's already missed 1 preseason game. Make it even 2 preseason games coming up with their next game this weekend. So Isaiah Bond is going to be essentially behind the 8 ball. Obviously, if it looks like from this case that the accusations proceeded against him were false, from what I have read, who knows? Again, these are NFL players. They got a lot of leeway when it comes to these legal matters, specifically what's been going on with Rashee Rice and the double standard that everybody is trying to talk about when pertaining to Rashee Rice. But that's another topic for another day. I'm happy for Isaiah Bond. I actually wanted the Dallas Cowboys to actually get him because we needed wide receivers at the time, and Isaiah Bond was a sleeper pick, and especially when you could not get your hands on Matthew Golden or Teteroa McMillan. I thought Isaiah Bond was that great complement for our wide receiver core. But at the time, I didn't even know that he had these legal cases going on. So I'm happy that he was able to get this past him. He signed with the Cleveland Browns alongside Quinshon Judkins, who we are about to talk about next. But I'm happy for him. I just want him to take... And when it comes to women, we know with these domestic assault cases and domestic violence and things of that nature, NFL guys have to be aware of who they're with. It's just, I would distance myself away from women if I was an NFL player. There's some, and I know that's kind of a harsh thing to say. Let's not really say that. Just be mindful of who you're in a relationship with. Just simple comment. Be mindful of who you are in a relationship with. Are they your ride or die? Are they going to be with you through the fire in your career? Or are they just going to be there to collect a check? I could go in deeper detail than that, but you guys can read between the lines, okay? So that is Isaiah Bond's case. Now, in Quinshon Judkins' case, his accusations came after the fact that he was already drafted in the 2nd round by the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is a player, again, another guy who I would love for the Dallas Cowboys to get, because Quinshon Judkins was one of my favorite running backs in the draft. I loved him more than Ashton Jeanty. That's how much I loved Quinshon Judkins. Now, a lot of that has to do with some Ohio State bias. But anyways, outside of that, I had him on my radar because he was one of my favorite running backs to watch in the draft. And now in his case, there's a lot of questionable stuff in regards to his legal matter. Essentially, the girl claimed he did something 5 days ago before she actually reported it. That's a little fishy there to begin with. But in Quinshon Judkins' case, he was able to actually he was actually being able to take part in rookie minicamp and regular minicamp. He just did not get to make it to training camp. And at this present moment, he has actually not been able to sign his contract, his rookie deal, in order to get his season going. So, sadly, in Quinshon Judkins' case, in the same case as Isaiah Bond, they are both going to miss these first 2 preseason games. Who knows if they're going to be able to get the last preseason game in, because there's only 3 preseason games, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure, but if I can be wrong, but I think there are only 3 preseason games. Let me sit and confirm that. Yep, 3 preseason games. Next weekend is the last weekend of the preseason. So maybe he will be able to get that last game in. Both of them. I imagine Isaiah Bond should be able to. But Judkins has got to get that rookie contract signed. And from what I've heard, it shouldn't be a hassle to get it signed. Maybe he gets it done at a pretty good time. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But what I want for these young men to do: clean up your act off the field. Okay? Be aware of your surroundings, who you hang out with, because it can make and break your career. You are the company you keep, okay? Your loved ones, whatever person you have relations with, make sure you know how that person is and their characteristics. In this case, are there one of these women who are liable to pull a stunt like this and accuse you of things that you did not do and get you in these legal matters and take you off of the football field? That is something that you need to diagnose and figure out if that could be a possibility. And in every facet, we've seen it with the NFL, any type of player, and you mainly see this with NFL players. You really do not see this much with baseball players and basketball players. And the only recent player outside of football that I can really remember that's had these type of lawsuits against him has been Trevor Bauer in the MLB. Do not really know an NBA player off the top of my head who has had to deal with these types of accusations against them. But it's a big football player thing. Just, guys, be knowledgeable of who you're with. You are the company you keep. Get the off the field stuff cleaned up and get on the field. Both Quinshon Judkins, I keep wanting to call him Quinyon, but both Quinshon Judkins and Isaiah Bond are great players, have bright futures, and deserve to be on the football field, showing off their talents for the Cleveland Browns, a franchise who has been debunked of talent for a very long time. So it is very imperative that these young men get on the football field and get their off-the-field acts together. What do you guys think about this? Isaiah Bond and Quinshon Judkins and their legal matters finally getting resolved, and they are finally able to get on the football field. I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys, moving into a very favorite topic that I am personally looking forward to getting to. So Mr. Tom Brady was on the Joel Klatt show, and we are talking about the GOAT, Tom Brady here. Joel Klatt was asking him a lot of questions about Bill Belichick, the state of college football, and mainly his overall career and who he sees in the NFL that mirrors his game. With no shock, Tom Brady went on to say that Patrick Mahomes is the only player so far in the NFL that he can truly say mirrors his game. Now let's get to Mr. Tom Brady's full thoughts in this video here.
Business or maybe remind you of you?
I think from afar, I can only tell so much because, you know, if I was in there every day, I could see their habits.
Yeah.
It's always that line about who wants to win versus who's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, because everyone wants to win.
Everyone wants to win, but what are the habits and the daily habits and the actionable things you need to do every day to put your team in a position to win? So Patrick Mahomes, to me, is the one that does that the most often.
Sure.
Because who he is, I mean, obviously his physical talent, how he understands what he needs to do offensively, and he brings a consistent winning attitude to work every single day. In the biggest moments, you can depend on him the most.
Yeah.
That's clear. There's other guys that are still developing, and they need to prove it before, in my mind, I can say, oh yeah, he's done it. Well, obviously, he hasn't done it yet. They've all shown flashes of amazing things. They're all great players. All of them can make tremendous plays. At some point, they need to take the next step and take, in my mind, more ownership of what they're doing in terms of the organizational level to do more things, to empower more people, to get more people on that train or that bus with you to head in the direction you want to go. Because I think the quarterback.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. We got stopped by ads. Jesus. Sorry, guys.
In many ways, is the CEO of the team, certainly on game day. There's nobody that impacts the game more than the quarterback in NFL football. Now, you have to have the ability and the belief from the entire team, offensively and defensively, that your word means so much.
All right. So I don't want to go too far because they had something else to go on in the interview that I possibly want to talk about in the future. It was talking about how Tom Brady was essentially talking about how he was demanding and he was the CEO of his team, not the head coach. It's a very interesting conversation that I'm going to save possibly for a later show. I didn't want to get that deep. But the talking point is essentially Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady is 100% right. We love, and I love, Josh Allen. I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow specifically, because Joe Burrow, to me, could have been the next Tom Brady. I mean, he has the mannerisms, the pocket presence. He has the same style of play. He just mirrors Tom Brady to me. Just from physical attributes, characteristics that he beholds in his game at the quarterback position. That is my current player right now who I would compare to Tom Brady. But obviously, Joe Burrow has not had the accolades that Patrick Mahomes has had on the field so far. He could have had one Super Bowl, but he dropped the ball on that one. Love Josh Allen. Hasn't done what Joe Burrow has done. He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. We love Lamar Jackson. All the MVPs, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Currently has 3 MVPs. Considered the most transcendent player at the quarterback position, skill-wise. Very historical figure at his position. But yet, he does not have the playoff, keyword, playoff resume to warrant him being considered in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes. This is an interesting stat that I knew was a thing, and I looked it up to make sure. Patrick Mahomes, basically in the same timeline, Patrick Mahomes has been in the league for 8 seasons. Him, let's change that term. He and Tom Brady, in their first 8 years, have the same amount of Super Bowl wins. Let that sink in one more time. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have the same amount of Super Bowl wins in the first 8 seasons of their career. It is so apparent that these two have the same type of types of things at their disposal. Have arguably the number 1 head coach in their current time. Had a pretty good offense, pretty good defense to get them by, which in Tom Brady's case, he had a great defense led by Bill Belichick. Tom Brady had a phenomenal offense. Nothing that Patrick Mahomes has even came close to yet. And they were the CEO, so to speak, as Tom Brady wanted to put it, of their respective team. They both have the clutch gene. They both have that Grim Reaper type of mentality. When Tom Brady got the football in the final quarter of the game, leading a comeback, final 5 minutes of the game, tie ball game, the team on the other sideline that Tom Brady was playing against was scared as you know what. Put a bleep word beside that. That's how scared and terrifying and demoralizing and horrifying that Tom Brady was in his career. In the same breath, Patrick Mahomes is that. Ask the Buffalo Bills what they've had to endure. What's this? 3 playoff runs now that they've had that's been ended by Patrick Mahomes, or 2? It's 2 or 3. And in their last 2 meetings, I want to say that the Buffalo Bills were the favorite to win that game. Go ask them how it fared out. Not so well. Ask Lamar Jackson how it's faring out right now. Patrick Mahomes, people are so scared of Patrick Mahomes. They literally changed the overtime rules in the playoffs for both teams to get possession of the ball. Do we remember the game in 2021 where the Buffalo Bills was playing? Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes were going at it. Absolute historic game. Quarterback duel. It felt like whenever they touched the ball, they were going to score. Guess what? Went to overtime, tie game. And the Kansas City Chiefs won the toss, got the ball, and that was all she wrote. Josh Allen did not get to hold the ball in the final waning seconds of that game. And the rest is history. That is who we're talking about. Talking about a quarterback who had the chance to go 3 straight. Who had the chance to win 4 Super Bowls in 8 years. Do you know how hard it is to say as a rookie quarterback in your first 8 years of playing that you've been to a Super Bowl half of the times that you've been in the league? Out of the 8 years, he's been to the Super Bowl 5 times. 5 times Patrick Mahomes has been to the Super Bowl. He's only lost to a very top-heavy Philadelphia Eagles team led by Jalen Hurts, and obviously the man that was giving him all the credit and the kudos in Tom Brady. That is who we are talking about. This comparison is absolutely fair. If anybody in my lifetime, and I can say this with confidence, has the chance to ever catch Tom Brady when it comes to just accolades, is Patrick Mahomes. Even right now, as we speak, there are probably plenty of people in the sports media space, recent players who have played, old players who have played, people currently in the league, probably already think and can say with full confidence that they think that Patrick Mahomes is the best player to ever lace up a pair of cleats and step on the football field. But when you think about it from an overall body of work, obviously that's not the case. But a lot of people have been talking about this just from eye test, which is a metric that most people use when it comes to this debate. Go ask people who are fans of the NBA when it comes to LeBron and Jordan. Jordan has both the accolades and he passes the eye test. Now, when it comes to a lot of LeBron fanboys, they will dismiss that claim and try and argue to the death about it. But that's the comparison that we're talking about. But Tom Brady ultimately gets the nod, in my opinion, because I'm a respectful guy. Okay, I give respect to those who have done it and done it at the highest level and achieved the highest peak of their career. Specifically for me, I know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. It is, and I think it is, me personally, it is the hardest championship to win in all sports because of the team aspect of it. Your quarterback, one player, is not good enough to show up in the Super Bowl and win you that ball game. You need the help of everybody's got to contribute. So, in my opinion, I've always said that the Super Bowl is the hardest game to win. And Tom Brady did that 7 times. 6 times for one team. And at the age of 43 years old, or if he was 43, 44 at the time, first season with a new team, he went out there and won another one. That's why Tom Brady is the greatest player to me, because I think Tom Brady was the one who drove that ship. I think he was the one who drove that ship in New England. I don't think Bill Belichick was not the main reason for their success. I really don't. And another reason why I give Tom Brady the nod for the greatest quarterback of all time is because he done it 20 plus years. Longevity. And I know a lot of people, quit debate with Jordan and LeBron. People give LeBron a nod because of longevity, but at the end of the day, 6 beats 4. And he's had more years to do it. But that's a little side comment for me. But just back to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Will Patrick Mahomes ever beat Brady numbers-wise? I don't think so. Could he do it? Yes. In this case, honestly, if he could have won this past Super Bowl and got to 4 already in 8 years, I would have probably laid, I'm not a betting guy, but let's just use this term. I would have probably went ahead and betted that Patrick Mahomes was going to tie Tom Brady in Super Bowls. Maybe even exceed. I don't think he would have exceeded, but he would have tied. He would have came close. Could he do it on one team for one franchise? Maybe. I don't know. And another reason why that at this point in time, I don't think he will ever do it, because I have not been able to see Patrick Mahomes without Andy Reid. At the time, for most of Tom Brady's success, Tom Brady has had a transcendent player playing for him and being with him and helping him out along the journey. When it comes from great defenses, but offensively, I'm going to talk about on the offensive side of the ball, Rob Gronkowski, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Randy Moss, all these small players that contributed here and there. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to get that type of help. Patrick Mahomes so far, the transcendent players that he has had, Travis Kelce, who is fixing to get ready and retire, I promise you in the next 2 to 3 years, he's already been talking about wanting to take a step back from the game these last 2 years. I do not see a situation where Travis Kelce plays 2 or 3 more years. 3 at the most. Traded away Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is currently not on the roster. What other transcendent player on offense has Patrick Mahomes played with? Now we see Rashee Rice. He is a player that is on the up and coming, and he has a lot of promise. But I think that Tom Brady has had just awesome luck. And I know, and I don't want to say luck because I want to be respectful, but it is super hard for teams to consistently get key players to help you win Super Bowls. And I think Tom Brady, he was lucky with that. He was able to have a great team around him. And I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to do that for the longevity of his career. Because we've seen in the 2 Super Bowls, not this past one, that was a full team loss. But in the Super Bowl he lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my gosh, his offensive line helped him down. The defense did not help him at all either. It was Patrick Mahomes out there playing with a bag of chips. So, I don't quite know if Patrick Mahomes will be able to catch Tom Brady because of that instance. I don't know how much Andy Reid has left the coach. He definitely is not going to be with Patrick Mahomes for the rest of his career. So I don't know. It's left to be seen. You can say the same thing with Tom Brady. He left Bill Belichick and he went on to win. I just don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to do that, because I don't know how much of the success is predicated on Patrick Mahomes' greatness, or it has to do with Andy Reid's play calling as well. We saw when Tom Brady left, he was able to win, so we knew that it was Tom Brady was the main catalyst behind the success. But in this case with Patrick Mahomes, what could he do without Andy Reid? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. It was a great conversation overall on the Joel Klatt show. It's a great watch. I might have another topic to talk about pertaining to Tom Brady when he just talked about his overall just greatness to begin with. Great conversation and great show. Shout out to Joel Klatt for getting Tom Brady, the Tom Brady, on the show to talk with him. But it is great for, Tom Brady not to be one of those guys who, and I think Jordan has done this to a degree, pretty denigrating his predecessor, the people who are, currently in the game, because, Jordan has never made a positive comment about LeBron in this type of sense that I know of. Comment down below if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. I don't know, but I've never seen Michael Jordan give a positive quote about, somebody essentially being his predecessor, I guess you can say. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but yeah, I'm glad that Tom Brady actually he's humble and he's able to, point out that Patrick Mahomes is pretty much was him and is him at that Patrick Mahomes is currently him in the league at this point in time. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think that Tom Brady is right about Patrick Mahomes pretty much being him in the NFL right now, comparing himself? I want to know all of your comments down below. And I don't know why I keep getting this mixed up. Tom Brady compares Patrick Mahomes to himself, compares his game and his mannerisms to Patrick Mahomes in the league right now, currently. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes is this generation's Tom Brady? There you go. I finally got it right. I could not figure out the best way to word that. So there we go. I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys, moving on to the next topics. We're moving on away from pop culture stuff, and we're going to get into, we're moving on from sports stuff, and we are about to get into some lovely, lovely, lovely pop culture things. And they both have to do with a movie that I love, to be honest with you. When it came out on digital today, I was stoked and I was ready to see it. Actually loaded it up to make sure it looks good, and I can't wait to watch this weekend. But I have a problem. Although I'm happy that it's available to watch at home, but I still have a problem. Superman, okay? Released on digital way earlier than expected. Look, we're going to read the article, and I'm going to absolutely demoralize the comments regarding this. But we're going to get to the article together. It's by Screen Rant, It's this. Oh, I'm about to eat this live. Okay, here we go. By Screen Rant. Following the announcement of the digital release of DC Studios' Superman, director James Gunn explains why the DC Universe movie is coming out early on video on demand. 2025 became a great year for the Man of Steel in the world of cinema, as the Superman movie brought the DC icon back for James Gunn's new DC franchise. After many positive reviews and a solid box office run, Superman's digital release date was recently announced, and it's way sooner than we were expecting. Thankfully, Gunn is finally explaining why. Screen Rant's own Liam Crowley interviewed Gunn at the Peacemaker Season 2 premiere, where he spoke with the DC Studios, DC Studios co-CEO about Superman's early digital release announcement. When asked why Superman is getting such an early release, James Gunn shared the following information. Now, before we get into all this, I have read it. I already know what he said. And then when I tell you guys this is absolute bullcrap, it is an absolute bullcrap excuse. But we're going to read it together. Oh boy, this is just okay. This gets me mad every time I want to read it. Screen Rant asked him, Superman was such a massive success, over $500 million worldwide, and it recently set the stage for the DCU moving forward. I was a little heartbroken to see it's already going to be on digital so soon after because I love a good long theatrical campaign. James Gunn went on to reply, me too. And the Screen Rant guy asked him what was the mindset in going to streaming that soon after. Mr. James Gunn had this to say. Well, it's very complicated, but the truth is it is because of Peacemaker. Okay. I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month. There was a lot of things that are beyond our control. So that Peacemaker is coming out now. And at the end of the day, I wanted everyone to be able to see Superman that wanted to. Even those people who couldn't get to a theater before Peacemaker. And that's really the reason for it. Absolute malarkey. Absolute just crap job. Okay. I'm not going to kill James Gunn for this because I know this was probably out of his hands. This is probably from the higher ups in the studios, the David Zaslavs of the world. He probably had a hand in this because we have seen, and I know I haven't discussed it, but I know, and I've seen the numbers the last 2 weeks. They have not been the best. It's been a slow just decline when it refers to numbers. We knew they weren't going to get to the 700 mark. Luis Fernandez, whatever the guy's name, who I follow with the numbers on Twitter, he hasn't really talked about the movie much in the last week. But from what I've seen, they were predicting maybe getting at best to the 640 mark. At the moment, it's going to pass 600 million, should pass 600 million. If it hasn't already, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. But we have seen, the box office numbers has decreased. And this is going into let me make sure. I'm about to look. But this should be the 4th week that it's been in theaters. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going on the 5th weekend that it's been in the theaters. So it is very normal, you can say, to see a decline in the numbers as, that Superman has had. It's had great domestic legs. It's actually crashed and broken some numbers for some very marquee, great movies, superhero movies in the past at the domestic box office. But the international numbers have been abysmal and is the only reason why this movie really is not at the 900, 800, maybe even a billion mark, which I never thought this movie was going to make a billion anyways. But a film like Jurassic Park is at the 800 million range and plus because of its international numbers. And Superman, being a good of a movie as it was, it absolutely deserved to get that same nod as well. But first off, it is truly unprecedented for me in my lifetime that I've seen this. Usually, a movie coming out on VOD this early is because the film is struggling at the box office in theaters. We saw it with recently the movie that I can know at the top of my head because I'm currently getting ready to watch it because my mom and dad's had just a love affair with this movie. I'm talking about The Accountant 1 and 2. So recently The Accountant 2 came out this year in the movies and it lasted two weeks in the theaters, maybe even 3. I don't even know, but it was super short. And took it out theaters and just took it straight to video on demand. So this is something that you normally see when movies are performing horribly at the box office. And as we see down below in the lower third that I created, it's only been 35 days. This might be something that you normally see around the 60-day range. You know, the film's been in there a good 8 weeks. 8 weeks is plenty enough for people to go see the film, and I think it's a respectful amount of time. Go ahead and put it on VOD before you ultimately put it on your subscription service, meaning HBO Max or Disney Plus in Marvel's case, later on down the road. Because, let's see, Thunderbolts came out when? May 11th, and at the end of the month, it's finally going to Disney Plus. So, be that as it may. It's just super unprecedented to me. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been a part of a film or, you know, been covering a film, heard of a film that has done this before. I may be wrong. Y'all really have to let me know. But, and I'm giving it some grace. Maybe this is an experimental method for Warner Brothers and David Zaslav to try and make more money off of the movie. It's kind of still stupid at the same time, because even when you take the movie off of the theater and have a normal, you know, theatrical run, then you put it on VOD like right after the theatrical run is over. Not while you're only 5 weeks in to your theatrical run. Normally movies last are in the theaters for a good 2 months, around that range, roughly. But maybe this is just a new experimentation method to try and make more money, get to the 700, 800 million mark. It still don't make no sense, because you can still do the same thing when the movie's out of theaters. I don't know. I cannot. I thought, I don't work in the movie business. I don't have no inside metric when it comes to the industry. So I don't know. I'm just coming up with assumptions here. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense. It's giving ammo to one set of people in the media space, to give them ammunition like, yep, Superman, they've been lying about the numbers all along. The film's not doing well. They're not making profit. They haven't made profit, and they're just trying to recoup money to try and make profit for the disaster movie that they made. They're giving these people ammunition. But I don't see no way, form, or fashion why this movie was a complete failure, given the current landscape of superhero movies and just movies in general. I thought Superman was 600 million. I thought 500 was going to be fantastic. It got past that. It got a whole extra $100 million and counting. So I think it was a huge win, given the current landscape, given how the Marvel movies look. I know Superman is not on the same level, Fantastic Four is not on the same level as Superman. But since Superman is going to perform way better than Fantastic Four in the box office this year. Shockingly better, because there were so many MCU bros who were just out there like, yep, you know what? Fantastic Four is going to eat Superman's lunch. And I am talking about Mr. Nerdvengers. I love your content, my man, but you absolutely got me so mad when you said that. God, I was so ill. But man, you eat crow. You know, I love great YouTube channel, great guy. But yeah, you had those type of people who were just thinking that Fantastic Four was going to blow Superman's socks off, but it never happened. I don't know, y'all. It's unprecedented. I really don't have any other words to say about this. I'm shocked. I'm mad. because it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's really not. When you've had all these people going against the film, just wanting to be haters, which haters are going to continue to hate. We know how the ball rolls. But man, this is just, it's very questionable. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But hey, we get to get Superman early, I guess. I mean, I guess that's a positive that you can say. Us Superman fans are eating good. I get to watch Superman this weekend. I'm actually kind of excited. But yeah, man, that is all I have about that. Shocking news. What do you guys think? Do you think that James Gunn essentially, well, not really James Gunn, WB and James Gunn really dropped the ball on this decision? Because at first, I think they were rumored that it was going to be originally like the 26th. But then we got like 11 days before that. It's drastic. I want to know all of your comments down below. All right, guys. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. We got one more topic. It's not quite over yet. We got one more thing that we were going to talk about here, and it's still regarding Superman. Okay. I know you guys are probably seeing me, go off to the side with my eyes. I have to record these segments so I can repost them, which is something I didn't even know you could do. And I've actually so far forgot to record 2 of the topics because I get so focused on just talking and not paying attention to the computer because I try not to look at this computer too much. But if you see me veer off, that's what I'm doing. But let's get down to our last topic for tonight. Superman again. But this time, will there be a Superman saga? James Gunn, and I feel like I just talk about James Gunn all the time. James Gunn essentially teased the future of Superman. Now, we know, we talked about it in the last podcast. I think if I'm not mistaken, it may have been this last one or the one before. I think it was the one before. I think we talked about it on Monday. We know that James Gunn has essentially confirmed the next Superman installment in the DCU. It's not a direct sequel to Superman. It's called The Super Family. James Gunn went and doubled down on that. And he had this to say. Gunn, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter, Gunn also gave a little tease for what's next after the success of Superman, which he wrote and directed, revealing, I've already finished the treatment for the next story in what I'll call the Superman Saga. The treatment is done, which means a very, very worked out treatment. Very worked out treatment. I was expecting something more to be after that. I'm working on that and hopefully going into production on that not too far away from today. Superman Saga. When I think of the keyword saga, I'm thinking of multiple films. 3-4 films. So we possibly are getting a trilogy. Now, hopefully, we get a standalone sequel. Okay, y'all saw the thumbnail of my recent video that I just posted. I think it actually was today. I am craving to see a direct Superman sequel. My gosh, we ain't had one since 1978 when the first one came out, and I don't even know the exact date that the sequel came out. It was obviously was in the 80s. Okay, we deserve a Superman sequel. We've had it with Batman. We're fixing to get another one with Batman. We've had it with Wonder Woman. Can we get a direct Superman sequel for once? Direct, meaning a individual story. Because specifically, I didn't get what I want in the first one, even though I enjoyed this latest installment of Superman. There was a whole lot that I would have done that would have made the film 10 times better. And I'm not questioning you. I'm not questioning you, Mr. James Gunn. But if we would have had a lot more Lois Lane and Superman interactions, even Clark Kent interactions, Superman, more Daily Planet, and if it would have felt like a more classic tale in that front, I would have been a happy camper. I'm still a happy camper, but I would have been an even more happy camper. But that's something I want to see in a sequel. A standalone sequel. I don't want Supergirl in it. I don't want Crypto in it. Let's go back to the MCU. Captain America had his individual film, and then in his sequel movie, it introduced the Falcon, and you had Black Widow, and obviously in his last film, his third and final film, you had a whole bunch of them. I get it. But essentially, we got Civil War in the first movie. So let me get an actual just Captain America First Avenger type energy with this coming up. Hopefully, a Superman movie, because we got a saga here. So we're already going to have another installment, which is going to be the Super Family, which will probably more than likely be the Winter Soldier-ish movie that you could say, so to speak, because we're going to have Kara Zor-El. It's going to be some type of buddy adventure with Kara, and maybe even throw Crypto in there in some way, form, or fashion. We love Crypto. I enjoyed Crypto in the last movie. But, yeah. After that, I want a standalone just movie, please. Please. I mean, there's so much potential here. I don't think James Gunn understands how much money he could make on making a classic tale. If you win over the Snyder Bros and people who did not like this last movie, and you win them over in making that classic tale, we will be eating good. We will be eating good. So that is something I want to see in this Superman saga. Something else I would love to see, some build up the Darkseid, and this ain't even in my notes. This is a nugget from the top of my head. I want to see Darkseid. Look, have not seen Darkseid live action. Even though you really want to save that for a Justice League type movie, because you want Darkseid to be the antagonist for a Justice League movie. It's really fitting. There's no denying it. It's the perfect. Just Darkseid's it. But I just want to see that. I want to see that. I want to expand on Superman's rogue gallery, because we've seen these same characters over and over. General Zod and Lex Luthor. Love Lex Luthor. I love General Zod, but Jesus, can we get something else? Can we get some Parallax? Brainiac, who is the one that I do not understand they will not do. Can we get some Brainiac in there? All of that. And there's other characters. Did I say Parallax or Parasite? I meant not Parallax. I meant Parasite. I'm over here talking about a Green Lantern villain. Parasite. Metallo. Darkseid. I know I've said Brainiac already. Is there any more? Toyman? Whatever. Those are like from the top of my head. Even Mongol, that would be a great one. I would love to see that. So this is what I want to see in the Superman movie. I'm sick of the same antagonist over and over. Even though I love Lex Luthor, I want to see Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor back in some way, form, or fashion. That's what I want to see. But I don't know what a saga could mean. I really don't. I'm just going off of what my interpretation of it. I'm guessing, and it's a hard guess, but I'm guessing that this is supposed to be like 3 to 4 movies, Superman saga. And even I don't even think this is including a potential Justice League movie. If it is including a Justice League movie, it sucks, but I hope it's not. I hope we get like 3 to 4 Superman movies and then get eventually a Justice League movie. I'd be happy. I know David Cornsweet, this is his first movie. I'm pretty sure David Cornsweet signed on for the next 10 years. So James Gunn is going to milk it. We're going to get all the Superman content that we want in the next coming years. But most importantly, what to take away from this, though, I love that Superman's getting prioritized. We've seen in the last couple of years that DC has very pretty much been Batman reliant in every way, form, or fashion when it comes to comic books, animated films, and just regular films in general. For the past 15, 20 years, the media and DC and their Warner Brothers and their productions have been very Batman reliant. Okay, they're making even a little spin-off movie, which looks absolutely horrific, by the way. A little spin-off series of an Aztec Batman. We've had Ninja Batman, Batman Ninja, however you want to say it. We've had so many Batman animated films, Batman movies. It's just Batman, 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 Batman. And even Wonder Woman, to a certain degree, in my opinion, has been more prioritized than Superman. So it's good to finally see Superman be a priority because he deserves it. you can argue on most people's list around the world, he is part of the big three: Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Those are your top three characters in the comic book genre. And it feels like Superman has been playing second fiddle to everybody else in the DC universe. Spider-Man's been getting his shine for the last 20, 25 years. Same for Batman, not Superman. And a lot of that has to do because a lot of people are not Superman fans. Just general audience in general. People do not like Superman because he's not relatable. People love relatable characters, and that's why people like me gravitate towards Batman and Spider-Man. I love Superman, but those two are my favorite over Superman. But it is very good, and I'm very glad that Superman is finally getting prioritized. Now that a lot of that probably has to do with James Gunn, because James Gunn is a Superman guy, really. Even though he did confess at the carpet he grew up loving Batman, and Batman is his favorite character. It's actually the first character that he named off in his favorite characters. But recently, it seems like he's found a love for Superman. I think Superman is a character that James Gunn is trying to pretty much make a name for himself for, like being the architect and the way that he was able to re-revolutionize Superman into a figure that everybody can love. I think that's like a tactic that James Gunn is trying to use, like the same just like Christopher Nolan. When you think about Christopher Nolan, Batman, just Batman. You just think about Christopher Nolan, you think Dark Knight. Although, I mean, Christopher Nolan, we're talking about the great Christopher Nolan here. Interstellar, Time. Is it Time? Or is it, I cannot remember the name of that movie. Interstellar, the Dark Knight trilogy, Oppenheimer, the one movie that had, anyways, I can't think of it. But yeah, you guys would know what I'm talking about if I would think about it. It was back in like 2011, 2010. I can't quite remember. But anyways, moving away from that. But James Gunn is essentially trying to make his own staple when it comes to Superman. But I'm just glad he's finally getting prioritized, and it is good for the character, and it is good for the DCU, in my opinion, because Superman is the leader of the Justice League. It's good that we're establishing him. So in that case, when we eventually get Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and everyone else, they can all just follow suit. I just really wish, though, that we could really space these projects out. I'm not really a huge fan of already getting something Superman, because we already know we're getting Supergirl, so we're actually getting something else Superman. So, and that, well, essentially we're getting something else Superman before we're getting Wonder Woman or Batman. Or just, I don't like that. I kind of would have just took a break with Superman and went ahead and moved on with that Wonder Woman movie and the Batman movie, and then maybe try and release the Superman and the Batman movie in the same year, same time frame. I would have been down with that, but I kind of wanted a break from Superman. But we know we're about to get Hal Jordan, so hey, Superman content. We cannot complain. But what do you guys think about the Superman saga? Do you think this is going to be 3 or 4 movies? Do you think it's going to be less than that? Do you think it's going to be more than that? Do you think it's going to involve a Superman eventual Justice League movie? Is that part of the Superman saga? Do you think, what characters do you want to see? Antagonists, protagonists? I want to know all of your comments down below. And all right, guys, we have reached the end of the Jayden Bryce Show for this week. I think I'm going to cancel off until doing a show until Monday. I might do one Sunday night. I don't quite know yet. So if I don't see you guys on Sunday night, I will see you on Monday. Bright, Sharp, and Skippy. I don't know what time I'm going to do it. I think I'm more than likely going to be doing it at nighttime. Again, I start school next week, so I don't know the show schedule so far. Obviously, I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and in the same breath, I actually have school off on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I know I'm going to be working a lot on Friday night specifically. Wednesday night and Monday night will be good, so I might just have to do Monday and Wednesday night, and eventually maybe have to do like a Saturday and a Sunday show. So we're just going to have to wait and see how everything falls along the line, how schoolwork goes, and everything else under the sun. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. Do not hesitate to hit the like button on the podcast. Look down below in the description to check out all my other videos when it relates to pop culture and sports stuff. Check out the podcast on Spotify Podcast and Apple Podcast. And more importantly, guys, subscribe to the channel and join the family. I thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm going to be watching some football with some family and some friends, enjoying some time before I get ready to embark on my final year of college. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of exciting stuff going on, and just continue to grow. I thank you guys for the continued watch time, the continued support. I know majority of the time I'm talking to one person in the stream. Even right now I'm talking to nobody, but whoever's watching this and whoever's going to eventually watch this, click on this. Thank you. One day there's going to be 1,000 of you in here, and we're just going to be kicking it off with one another. It's my dream. One day I'm gonna have a studio. I'm gonna have a bunch of people here with me to watch, and just one day, we're just gonna keep chugging this train, keep going, and we're gonna build the biggest empire in the media space. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next show. Enjoy your weekend. I love you guys. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See you.